Hello everyone and welcome to the webinar on full supply transparency. My name is Tobias and I will be your moderator today. And we will just give everyone some time to join before we begin. And in the meantime, I will present some of the speakers from Lobster, logistics.cloud. We have Elena, who's head of sales, and Eileen, who's head of product marketing. And guest speaking from Krones, we have Kobian, Senior Logistics Consultant, and Stefan, Product Lead for e-business. Yeah, and during our presentation, feel free to ask questions in the chat. We will address them later in the end at the Q&A section of the webinar. Yeah, and it looks like most of us have joined right now, so I'll send it over to you, Kobian, and let's start the webinar.
Yes, thanks a lot. Now we start to share our presentation we created for our meeting. Just give us a few seconds. I think now you can see it. Okay, track and trace, the transparent supply chain is the topic of our presentation. First of all, I want to introduce to you our agenda. The first thing is, yes, we want to introduce Krones, the company by itself, just to get an idea about what we do and what are our economic key figures. The second thing is the motivation, why we created the project Track and Trace. Then we go on with the project targets and challenges we are facing with. The fifth point is the implementation of our project and our Track and Trace tool. Then we will tell you something about our different use cases we defined, and then we close our presentation with some hopefully interesting KPIs. Okay, now we go to the next slide. Introduction of Krones by itself. On the top you can see some key economic figures. Employees, I think we already have 20,000 employees right now, so the number is a little bit old. In the last few months, we hired a lot of people because the incoming orders still raise. And yes, so what is the business of Krones? You can see that we have a small video sequence for you, and Stefan will share it right now. Okay, that was just a small image video of Krones. I think you can also find it on YouTube. So we are a machine producing company for the bottling equipment. We produce our machines for worldwide customers. And yes, I think you have been able to see some of our big customers, for example, Coca-Cola. And yes, I think this is enough to introduce Krones in a short term. And now we go on with our next slide. It is about the motivation of our track and trace project. As you can see right here, we did an independent survey, and we asked our customers, what is your biggest need and what is your wish? So Krones can fulfill your expectations. And our customers told us that there is a big need to have a transparency in the supply chain, especially a transparency when our goods get shipped out to the customers. They want to know the different status of deliveries. And this was the reason and our trigger to create our track and trace project together with Lobster Logistics Cloud. So the next thing is project target. We defined what are our main targets in this project. First of all, we want to have, as I told before, a transparency of our delivery status, even for internal purposes, but above all for our customers. Mostly, mostly the customers ask our sales department what's the status of the delivery. The sales department contacts the shipping department. Then we contact our carriers, and then the communication line goes back to the customer. It is complicated, and this is why we want to have a transparency even for internal colleagues, but of course for our customers as well. Delivery informations regardless the mode of transport. So we have air freight, we have sea freight, we have the transportation by trucks, but we want to provide these informations for all mode of transports. Availability of data was another big target in our project. We want to have the transparency in a web platform. You can see a screenshot on the right-hand side, this presentation slide. And how we can do it. We want to export our data to a target system by API. So at Krones, we are using the SAP system for creation of transport and deliveries, and our informations and data are exported by APIs to the target system. Okay, the next thing is challenges of our project, and now Stefan will go on with the presentation.
Okay. Hello from my side. Thank you for joining. So what was the challenges of our project? We have huge networks of carriers. As Corbina mentioned, yeah, we have all different transport modes. Therefore, we also have different carriers from the classic cab carriers to some regional carriers here in our area. We have shipments of single parts up to 60 tons machines. So really different deliveries. It depends a little bit on our sales area. So we have 3 different sales areas. The first one is the new machines. The second one is the retrofits. And the third one is the spare parts. Then we have shipments all over the world, high 6-digit numbers of shipments per year. So from our headquarter in close to Regensburg, we ship all over the world in mostly every country. So we have a huge complexity regarding the shipments, and also we have a really difficult system landscape because our subsidiaries often use different ERP systems. We have to figure out how we have the same data in all the different systems, and the first step, what systems they use. And also we have the change to the SAP S4 HANA system in some of our regions at the moment. So these were the biggest challenges. And how did we solve these challenges? We were on the one side focusing on the top 20 carriers. So we made some data analysis and checked who are our most important carriers. And then we focused on them. And also to reduce the complexity, we started with the spare parts sales area. So because the shipments of the spare parts are more easy than the new machines, and therefore we started with the spare parts, then with the retrofits, and then we go to the new machines. Also, for the international challenge, we started with the implementation in Germany, and now we are starting with our international rollout. And to solve this problem with our system landscape, we use a standard SAP Exchange format to bring the data to the logistics.cloud. And then, of course, we have a customizing by region, but at the moment we try to stay in the standard and do no customizing. So we made some testing in our pilot region Thailand, and we decided not to do the customizing of the interface. We preferred to do a process adjustment in the logistics department in Thailand so that we can use the same interface as in Germany. Also, our topic is already placed in the S4 implementation project, so that they keep in mind that we will need this interface also to the new SAP S4 HANA system. So what is our use cases? In the project target, Corbinian told you that, we need this solution for the employees, but also for our customers. Therefore, we have two different use cases. For our employees, they have the possibility to log in into the web platform via single sign-on. You see the login mask in the middle of the screen. And then when they are inside the web platform, they can search by the needed order. So we have different numbers where they can identify or search the right shipment. For example, we also have our SAP sales order number placed in the tool so that the sales people can search by their SAP sales order number. When they search their order, they can also find the status of the tracking. So where is the shipment and what is inside the package. So that was really important information for us, that they have the contents of the package and the tracking together in one tool. For the customers, we don't give the customers access to the logistics cloud platform because it's there's a lot of information and the customer don't need all of this information. For the spare parts, we have the Krones shop where the customer can order spare parts, and they see all their orders also in the Krones shop. It doesn't matter if the sales channel was email or Krones shop, and we have all the orders in the Krones shop. And then we get the information from the logistics cloud and import them into our Krones shop and display this information for the customer there. The customer can find the searched order in the order history and sees all the contents of the respective delivery, and also have the link to the track and trace platform. As you can see in this small screenshot, this link goes to the external track and trace platform of Logistics Cloud. You don't need a login to track the data here. So we use this, that the customer don't need a second login and have all his information here. He will also receive an email when the shipment is shipped, and also when a proof of delivery is available. Now I want to close with some KPIs of our project. We made the go live of the interface to our production system in November 2023. We have now deliveries to over 150 destination countries in the logistics cloud. 9 carriers are live, 5 are currently in onboarding. And with this 9 carriers, we have a coverage of 90% in the spare parts sales area and also in the retrofit. So most of the shipments are already in the tool. For the new machines, as I mentioned before, we use different carriers, and therefore we only have a coverage of 30%, but we want to increase them more when we onboard more carriers. Currently, I guess the numbers are not correct anymore because we import a lot of shipments per day. But yeah, the numbers were like 2 weeks ago. We had 130,000 shipments and 170,000 deliveries in the tool already. So a lot of deliveries which our employees can track.
Just a small add, because for the common understanding, a shipment can contain more than one deliveries, and this is why we have more deliveries in the system than shipments.
Yes, exactly. The shipment is the highest layer. Okay. That was our short presentation about our project, how we gained transparency in our supply chain. We are still working on the project, but yeah, we have made a good progress since last year.
And what we also can say that a lot of our employees are very happy with this platform. They are using it right now. So we tested in some departments, sales, for example, and the feedback we receive from our colleagues is very good. It's the usability is very good, and there are not a lot of problems how they should handle the system. So it's very workable and good right now.
And another good benefit was that we could address our adjustments or wishes really good at Logistics Cloud. So, for example, as I mentioned, the SAP sales order number, they created for us this new information in the tool, so which is really helpful for our sales department. So we can do some adjustments in the tool, which helps us. And
it's really a great working together. We defined some wishes we had, and I think every wish could be fulfilled in the last month. So we are very happy with our project.
Yeah, thank you very much for presenting, Stefan and Corbinian. I think Krones is a great logistics cloud and Lobster customer, and Krones itself is actually very innovative and leading the way in the industry. So Krones is in Germany, but probably also worldwide, or at least in the DACH region, very known for being very innovative and always investing in making logistics more digital, more transparent across the whole supply chain. So we could make a, let's say, small contribution here with the help of logistics cloud technology, and of course with the existing network. So all the carrier which are shown or displayed on the graphical interface, like the tracking status, they were already connected on the cloud. So the integration and the, let's say, visibility solution was not that difficult to create for Krones. I think it took us less than a year, right, or a half year to have the first carriers on board, and now we are, of course, developing further and further. But maybe let's give you guys a little introduction about Lobster and Logistics Cloud, where we come from, and to also show you the world of Logistics Cloud. And I would like to start with a little mind game. And yes, it's AI generated. My design skills are not that sufficient, so I tried ChatGPT, and that's what came out. So I want to start with a mind game. Imagine you're trying to put together a family reunion where everyone speaks different languages and nobody's ever heard of Google Translate. So like Uncle Bob is speaking binary and Aunt Sue is sending smoke signals and cousin Jim is still using a carrier pigeon. What do you think the result would be? Probably chaos. And it takes a lot of time to exchange information with each other. So now imagine those quirky relatives are logistics companies and shippers. So each with their own way of handling and exchanging shipment data. That's basically more or less, you know it better than me, but that's the daily life or the daily struggle of a supply chain manager. But what if I told you that there was a way to get everyone speaking the same language on the same page without learning a new language? And that's basically possible. It's also AI generated, and that's my last picture AI generated with Logistics Cloud. So here it serves as a universal translator for the supply chain, where everyone can communicate with each other. Even the carrier pigeon can join the conversation. No, but in the complex and fragmented logistics industry, this is actually really where Logistics Cloud comes in as a connectivity hub, changing the way data connectivity and data automation is seen in the logistics industry. So our vision is really to leverage the benefits of a connected ecosystem and make it easier for everyone in the supply chain to communicate and improve end-to-end transparency of the shipment flows. So let's jump in and start with a really quick ramp up of Logistics Cloud history, because it's actually quite interesting. And the idea of a, so to say, logistics data platform or data cloud was born in an innovation group, made of people from the industry like Schaeffler, Siemens, Lufthansa Cargo, Schenker, but also Krones. So Krones was there from the start and from the beginning. And after the pilot was successful, Lobster came in as a market-leading neutral technology provider who knows a little thing about connectivity and process automation. And with this technology, Logistics Cloud, as it is today, was basically born. And in the last 4 years, Logistics Cloud has its mark into the logistics market, proving its worth with major partnerships like Lufthansa Industry Solutions, Timocom, Riege, but of course over 220 customers and over 300 connected companies and cloud-based processes are up and running and can be used by the whole Logistics Cloud network. So now it's a proven solution, I would say, based on 5 key areas. The first is that we are grown into an absolute neutral open network ecosystem that includes all logistics service providers, all sectors and modes of transport. So will it be air, road, sea, rail, everything. Secondly, as said, we are using the cutting edge Lobster technology. And I think with over more than 2,000 happy customers, we can really handle data and process with absolutely no problem. And we are compatible with all formats like EDIFACT, XML, so no technical issues here and no challenges at all. But we, of course, always looking ahead and improving our technology with new formats and new tech stacks like hyperscalers, of course, also artificial intelligence, IoT and blockchain, which are already implemented and can be used. And last but not least, we also work with, of course, Multiplier and top industry players like GS1, like Bosch LOS, and we are also aligned with other standards like YATA or One Record, which makes integration for the whole network absolutely much more easier. Given all that, we break through complexity with just one solution and to drop the keyword in real time, 24/7. No, but we really mean it. Logistics Cloud rethinks data connectivity as a network. And with a network, we build it. We streamline data flows and automate communication channels of shippers and logistics service providers. So in the graphic, we try to visualize it. Logistics Cloud is in the middle, the blue box, and it's a connectivity hub or a connectivity layer that seamlessly connect the stakeholders from a shipper to a warehouse to an airline, vessel, and so on with each other, but also with their ecosystem. So this includes their planning area, like planning systems, TMS, ERP, VMW systems, but as well the whole transparency area with visibility providers or also sustainability tools. So we really integrate the whole ecosystem via Logistics Cloud and ensure a holistic view of the supply chain. To make it more tangible, what we do every day, maybe we just dive into a concrete example. We say our bread and butter, the exchange of order and tracking data, as also Krones is doing it right now and showed it before. So Logistics Cloud canonical data model is in the middle and it receives any shipment data from a shipper's ERP system in any format and converts it into our standardized JSON. And then from there, we can smoothly translate it and transmit the order data to the intended recipient. And of course, moreover, our connectivity hub enables bidirectional communication. So as already showed, the logistics service provider can, of course, send tracking updates back to the shipper into their ERP system, or like Krones into any visibility tool or our visibility solution, so that you can see the tracking update there in real time. And if requested, it's also possible to enrich the data with any branch codes or with IoT or geofence information for enhanced insights, like temperature, ETA data, estimated time of arrival data, or actual time of arrival data. So yeah, that's possible, and each participant can really communicate with only one single connection into the cloud with other participants. So it's a, so to say, one-to-many approach. And the result is actually pretty easy. It's time and cost saving. And when it comes to exchanging information between different systems. So it's not just a connection. Actually, just Logistics Cloud is an, let's say, unlimited gateway to really streamlined, to flexible, and to scalable logistics operations. So basically, we have our bread and butter, the logistics service provider connectivity, we say, so between shippers and logistics service providers. But we also developed some other connectivity solutions. So it starts with all the warehouse processes and CAP processes, which are already implemented in the cloud with, of course, of labeling and that kind of processes, which can be used by the whole network. But also the whole era of supplier connectivity and IoT is already developed. And for sure, the supply chain visibility, as Krones already presented, is also some of our solutions. And here you can see also our graphical interface that is Krones using every day. And so with that being said, it's a quick and brief overview of Logistics Cloud. I would love to hand over to my colleague Eileen, who gives a short introduction and say something about Lobster, the cutting edge technology. And I hand over to Eileen and also change the presentation since I got her presentation. 1 second.
Yes. Thanks for backing me up on that account.
Sure.
Of course, there's no webinar with technical difficulties, I guess.
Of course not.
So I will just start on little details. I mean, Alina already introduced me. I'm here. I'm from product marketing, and I'd like to give you a brief introduction on Lobster and our objectives for the future. Of course, everyone here knows Lobster, as far as I know. And at least to my knowledge, everyone here is a mostly experienced data user. So I'd like to use my time to give you an outlook on our direction and objectives. So let's begin simply. You can see it here, connecting people and data for a better future. So at Lobster, there were always two themes on the forefront. Naturally, these are data on the one hand, but also the people. Both of it are really focus themes for us, and this will remain the same, but of course with the focus on the future. The challenges in our data-driven world are steadily increasing, and I guess you are all aware of it in your businesses. It's diversity and it's the volume of data, and the key lies in who manages effectively to integrate and manage the data to still stay on top of its business. But becoming a data-driven organization is pretty difficult. Next slide, please. So it's easier said than done. to be ahead of your game. Becoming a data-driven organization is quite difficult. It depends on the system landscape. It needs to be taken into account. Of course, budget always plays a role. There are always restrictions. There's always a short timetable. But equally important it is to keep governance and policies in mind. And of course, the own people always need to be integrated. They need to be part of the process. They need to be introduced to new tools and to the need of managing your data successfully. And therefore, we set our mission to enable organizations to unlock the full potential of the data. But how do we plan to achieve this? Most of you are former data customers, so you are all aware that we began as a product, Lobster Data, our core tool for data integration. However, this evolved into many different solutions with different areas of focus. There is the PIM for product information management, but also Pro for process automation management. And of course, the logistics cloud as just presented by Alina and the use case presented by Krones. And what we are planning to do is not stay in those single areas and those single solutions, but to offer you all our tools from one platform. So our goal is to transform into one platform, and we call it the Intelligent Data Platform. And this way we can equip you with all the tools you need to implement your use cases. The next slide shows it in a little bit more detail. Of course, the base of this intelligent data platform is the base layer is the data integration. So this is the core tool set you may know. It's the tools you need for mapping the different business connectors, etc. But we won't stop here. There's also a second and a third layer, and we are still defining it to the last detail. But the next layer on top of the data integration is the data management layer. What are we doing here? Here we offer our tools to actually visualize and automate the data you already integrated. Because some of you just need to see it in a nice view customer portal, but some of you also need to automate it, or even integrate it in your processes or automate your processes. However, we not only offer you the tool set to create or finalize your own use cases, but we also offer our own products. We call them our data products. And those we created by implementing our own tools from data integration and data management. And our core areas for our data products are actually logistics operations, governance, and sustainability. And I think Alina and Krones already gave you a broad overview what our data product actually looks like in logistics operations. So it's the logistics cloud with all the offerings created with using the Lobster tools from data integration and data management. So this is our value proposition to you. It is unlocking the power of data to create opportunities for people, business, and society, to give you the chance with the Lobster's intelligent data platform to unlock insights and create impactful outcomes, and to use them to make better decisions, to be more efficient in the daily business, to be more efficient in your processes every day. What does it look in action? So how does the data platform actually work? I mean, if you're data users or if you're aware of your daily challenges, you know that we have uncountable sources of data. It might be your business solution, the web, your TMS, It might be from social media, analytics, IoT, mobile, you name it. The landscape is endless and the formats are endless as well. So the first step is always we have to integrate the data into your landscape. And this is where the base layer comes into play. So data integration. Here we're using different offers from our toolset, like there is integration packages, there's like mapping formats and protocols, etc. And once they are integrated, we can actually use the data the way you need. So for example, I already mentioned it, you might say, okay, I want to I already developed my own use cases, but I need a toolbox how actually make them work. So I need to automate them, or to even create my own single application, or maybe I only need to visualize the data or the processes. And this is the second layer. So actually we just turned the cube we saw earlier by, I guess it's 90 degrees. And we are walking right through it. And on the right hand, there you have our data products, or even our partner use cases, customer use cases, depending on who you ask, because the data products are actually made by us, by Lobster, like the logistics cloud, which is created from Lobster guys to provide you a standardized solution and, of course, even a network, but also partner use cases. And Alina already jumped to the last slide of it. It's a more detailed look onto our data products. I already mentioned there's logistics, there's governance, and there's sustainability. Logistics is mainly about the shipment and the supply chain visibility itself. I think Alina already gave a good introduction to that. But governance and risk and compliance, for example, is e-invoicing. We are actually finalizing our standardized solution, how to integrate and send e-invoices with our standard Lobster data products on e-invoicing, but not only to offer a product doing that, but also fulfilling regulatory requirements. And of course, sustainability is always a big topic. So we're also focusing on that area to also provide standardized solutions that might be interesting. So you always have the option on what you want to do, what you want to use from the data platform. So you can say, okay, I want to do it on my own. There's this core tool set for data integration and management. But you can also say, I need standardized solutions, hence data products, and I want to go that direction. And of course, you can go both or either way. I guess everybody here is happy to support you in any way you can. So that's a roundup from my side. I think we made it the other way around. We actually planned, but we went from detail, from Krones, to a little bit of broader overview with this logistics cloud. And with me now, there's hopefully a full circle on where we are standing and developing from Lobster point of view.
Yeah, thank you, Eileen. I think now we have 15 minutes left, so we are perfectly in time, I guess. So we have still room for questions and, of course, answers. And let me quickly jump out of the presentation because I can't see anybody. So, and yeah, Tobias, you want to say something?
Yeah, so we'll take the first question here from Franz, who's asking, do you think you need more or less than 100% of the carriers? If operation has some information in the system and some are not, the acceptance, could it be a problem?
Yeah, we thought about this too, but it's nearly impossible to get the 100% because we have some regional carriers who don't have the a good IT system to do this track and trace information exchange. And therefore, our project target was to do 80%. So we already over 80% in the spare parts. And yeah, at the moment, I guess we have 95%. So almost every shipment is there. And of course, the shipments from the biggest carriers. So yeah, of course, there could be some problems in the acceptance of the tool when there is not every delivery in there. But yeah, we communicate this really open to the employees that it's not possible to have 100% coverage there.
This is the reason why we did the top-down evaluation. We wanted to know which carriers are responsible for the biggest volume of shipments. And with our main carriers, it's not a problem to get the connection because even they are interested to go on in the business with Krones, and they want to provide these informations as well. At Krones, we say even when we want to work with new carriers, we want to set up contracts that the carriers are responsible to fulfill our needs to have the transparency in our platform. But of course, as Stefan mentioned before, it's not possible to reach the 100%.
Absolutely. It's also around the Pareto efficiency a little bit. So, of course, the 80% takes quite an effort, and the last 20% do not usually bring then the value than the first ones. And that's also about how the platform, of course, grows. With the 80%, you can almost have quite a large transparency. And I think the last 20% are then going to come also probably by other solutions, which can be used then in the next year. So you don't need that in the very first place.
Yeah, and then Franz is asking again, which Lobster modules do you need to build the internal and external portal?
Alina?
Yeah.
I guess that's better for you.
Yes, actually, I was just reading another question, so I was like, okay. Which models they use, right? That was a question. I'm like in a school. That was a question, right? Tobias.
Yeah, it was the question.
Okay, perfect. Let's say models. So logistics cloud is a managed solution. So once you want to make use of different logistics clouds, connectivity use cases, you need to be a member of Logistics Cloud, and Krones is actually a full member, and then they can choose from different use cases. And one use case is the visibility use case, and this is basically more or less the model they need. It's really simple, so we don't go nitty gritty and say, okay, you need 10 different add-ons for that. We offer you a managed solution. We say, okay, this is our standardized visibility solution, and that's all you can get. And of course, we can add different add-ons, like we do it in your design if you wish. That might be a little module you can purchase extra, but usually you just need to be you need to subscribe to Logistics Cloud and choose from the use cases, and then you get a package, and that's the kind of the module you need. So that's pretty easy, actually.
Then Denise is asking, could you guide me to the list of connectors with warehouse management systems, transportation management systems, and ERPs?
Of course, we can do that afterwards. I think for now, a list would be a little bit boring to just read it through, but maybe to give more information about that question, we can of course connect to every system. So actually, of course, if it's a system we already know, like I don't know, W3 as a VMS system, or Rigo as a TMS system, or whatever, CargoWise, we all know it. We have a connector in the cloud, so that might be a little bit faster and easier for sure. But usually we can connect to every system. It's absolutely no big difference.
Then Eric is asking, Will the individual Lobster products eventually be replaced by Logistics Cloud?
No, they
Eileen.
can all
No.
survive simultaneously. I mean, it makes sense, of course. Logistics Cloud integrates them. There speaks nothing against it, but mainly they are separate data products and they can be used separately from each other.
Okay,
Yeah.
then Bardo is asking, which Lobster product is Krones using?
At the moment, only logistics cloud. But of course, there are some, discussions about other products too.
Yeah. So also to give a little bit more information about that, it's also of course possible to if you want to have your logistics cloud, the main USP is that it's standardized and scalable. So it's let's say it's not individually developed. You don't need any project days. You don't need big budgets. Let's say it like this. If you want to develop it further and more individual, you need a button here. You need to click here, or you need at the start a different login system or whatsoever. You can of course do it more individual, but then we have other Lobster products in place which can be enriched with Logistics Cloud and can go with a hybrid solution. So that's what Stefan wanted to say, that this is also an option if they want to have more individual features in their solution.
Then Christian is asking, why have you used Logistics Cloud and not done the integration on your own, or would you have been able to do it with alternatives to Logistics Cloud?
So in our IT department, they don't like to do it on your own. They we have they want that we find a cloud solution which is on the market already, so that they don't invent this product new. And also you do have to do all the interfaces to the carriers by yourself, and we don't want to do this, and therefore we used Logistics Cloud because they already have the interfaces to the carriers and do all this stuff of the project. So therefore for us it was not a big discussion to do it on our own. And of course, we did in the first step of the project, we did the evaluation of different competitors, and we decided us for Logistics Cloud because of the functions and pricing, and some other key factors.
And the people, of course.
Sure.
Then Simon is asking, what was the implementation time in the Krones case?
I think, Stefan, you can answer for the first carriers maybe, because we are still in developing further and further. But
so we started to make the interface to the productive system in November 2023. So we're still working on it. Already have 10 carriers. This is our implementation time at the moment. But before we did a proof of concept in 2023, we had like 3 months where we tested the software. So the whole project is probably ongoing 2 years already from the start to the to today. But the implementation phase is like 1 year since November 2023.
I think from 0% to over or to more than 80%, it took only a few weeks. And now we have to try to find out which carriers we can adapt to the system step by step. And this is what takes a little bit of time. And furthermore, when we want to do the international rollout, we have to align our processes and working in the system with our subsidiaries. And this is why we reach not a higher percentage for the moment. But yeah, once again, for the more than 80%, it really only took about a few weeks.
Okay, then Christian is asking, what time benefit did you have compared to the one-by-one implementation? RUI or?
Well, I think this is so the I hand over to Nico for that question.
Yeah, usually we see, of course, also first time one-on-one implementations if the carriers are not there. And yeah, it could take also half of a year to discuss with the carrier to explain what we want to do, and the time when the carrier has then also resources to start really acting. So as Stefan and also Kubinian were explaining, so the total time might be half of a year, and then from the implementation it's only a few weeks. So then you can say in total you need probably up to 6 months for a one-to-one connection. And that's, of course, the great benefit here with Logistics Cloud, that you have almost 80% of the carriers have already the connection to Logistics Cloud, and you can just reuse them and you don't have to build them from scratch. So basically you can just save that time for the carriers which are already there and reduce it from 6 months to a few weeks, because you don't have to start exploring with them and explaining what we want to do and what we want to build. So for the 80%, I would say it's around 90% of savings in terms of time.
Then Peter is asking, is it possible for the end customer to give instructions to the forwarder about change of planned delivery date of the shipment via the platform?
In general, it's possible. In the Krones case, sorry, we are not doing that at the moment. So we don't have this process at the moment. But in general, we have that also in the Logistics Cloud, that you can change delivery dates.
Then Simon is just writing project phase, but I'm thinking it's for his last question, which was what was the implementation time in the Krones case. So yeah, then Marco is writing, do you also provide an Android app for setting status by drivers and carriers?
We have that also available, so we are not doing that on our own. We use a partner solution for that one. So we have several possibilities to set directly the status also via an app or via a messenger. Of course, we have also own capability at Lobster to do that, but we usually use partner applications which are very much specialized on the driver communication.
Then Peter is asking, how do you get position information from sea and air carriers? Is there a direct connection? Currently, ships from Asia have to go around Africa because of the attacks in the Suez Canal.
Yeah, with also a lot of external partner solutions connected, which are delivering the vessel tracking information, for example.
So Denise is asking, question to Krones, what was the reason for selecting Lobster instead of SAP API management?
I would say the complete package. Of course, because it's a company regulation that we have to consider a few offers. But for me, it was the complete package. But maybe Stefan, you want to add something?
Yeah, we also checked the SAP solution for this topic, but they had no tracking on their own. So you had to add another supplier. For example, they work together, I guess, with ProShip. And then, of course, you had to, you have higher costs because you have to pay ProShip and also SAP. And the solution from SAP was not really suitable for our project scope.
Then yours is asking, how does it work with addressing data from carriers, right, and roles? Is there like a marketplace with who you want to connect?
I think, I mean, Stefan Corbinian can answer that better, but accessing the data from the carriers, first of all, of course, you have to have a running business with the carrier. And then you have I think, Krones, you have the probably key accounts, but of course you can explain it afterwards, and really go in conversation with them. And when they have running business, then they have contact, and then they want to, of course, exchange order data and tracking status. And that's how we do it right now. But there's also, of course, in the future or in the near future, an onboarding portal where they can invite the carrier to share their data via logistics.cloud, and then it's much more faster, the connectivity with the carrier. But still, right now, we doing like a little kickoff, exchanging information, and then we do the implementation. But Stefan Corbinian, you want to add something?
Yes, we have to find a reference which is also known by the carrier, so that we have like one reference. With this reference, logistics.cloud is asking the carrier about the shipping data, and then we get the data. So this is the rights and roles. What you need, like one reference which is known for logistics.cloud and also for the carrier.
Yes. I think, Tobias, I'm not sure, but the time is up, and I don't want to spend more time of Stefan and Corbinian for our webinar, because they did a great job. Thank you very, 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 very much for presenting and taking your time to showcase our visibility solution. We are very happy to work with Krones together. I said from the start, actually, Krones was here and supporting us, but now being a really, really good customer and a really nice partner. We're very happy to have them. And yeah, thank you again also for the guys to watch this webinar. It was fun. I hope you learned something, and you can of course contact us afterwards if you are interested in some solutions, or maybe Lobster, logistics.cloud. You have any questions or something, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you all for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.